Hey, Mitchell, pretend that I know nothing about Emperor's Children. Who are they?
I'm glad you asked, Cody. Well, hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Mitchell,
I'm Cody.
and today we're here to talk about my favorite, The Emperor's Children. They're finally here. They're finally out. I have waited probably 15 years for this
Yeah.
because I started playing way back in 5th edition. I know there's people played older than me, but my very first time playing Chaos Space Marines, which was my second army, I'll put clear. I played Emperor's Children, and I immediately fell in love. I want to paint all my guys pink,
Yeah.
and now they finally have their own book, and I'm so
Finally.
excited.
Yeah, they're the last of the four Chaos Gods cult to get their own Space Marine faction.
They did one an edition for 4 editions.
Yeah.
Yay! But yeah, we're just gonna go over the quick breakdown of the army rules, like some positives and negatives of each detachment, maybe some stuff that each detachment wants to use in their army list, and we'll take some discussion from you guys.
Yeah.
Discuss it here with Cody, and that's about it. I got the points up on my phone, and we're good to go.
Well, their army rule, I don't know if it's any different from the index that they got.
Their index didn't have an army rule.
It didn't have an army rule.
It was Dark Pacts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, anyway, yeah, their new one is Thrill Seekers, and basically it gives them advance in charge or fallback in charge if there's a couple stipulations to it. They cannot target the unit it was within engagement range with when they fell back from, and then they cannot target their charge towards somebody else that is another unit's target. So basically you can't like fall back and charge the same guy, and then you also can't like double team an enemy unit.
This is super flavorful because they are very conceited. They want to be the best.
Yeah.
So they want to be the first to the fight. If someone else gets to the fight first, they don't want that fight anymore. They want a different one. It should be noted that this is also shoot, fallback, and advance. So everything in your entire army gets fallback, advance, shoot, and charge with stipulations.
Yeah.
So similarly, they can't shoot at something that something else already shot.
Right.
And they can't fall back and then shoot the thing they were just engaged with. But it is very strong.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the best vanilla Space Marines detachments is advance and charge your whole army. And this does more than that, but with some downsides.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I love this army rule. They also have a thing on the army rule section about the Legions of Excess, which is basically just the demons. It's just, hey, there are things in here that are called Legion of Excess, and you can't use that as your army.
Yeah, it's kind of the smushing of the demons that we're probably going to see sometime in 11th, unfortunately. Basically meaning, yeah, you can bring some demons with exceptions. But yeah, you can't just run all demons like some people were hoping when Emperor's Children came out.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. I find it a little interesting because they just changed the basically the entire army of Chaos Demons. I'm interested to see if that still has the rules for using them as allies, because if so, technically, you could use 500 points in actual demons, 1,000 points. We'll get to the detachment that lets you use it, and then 500 points of Chaos Space Marines. We'll see.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question, actually.
Anyway, on the first detachment.
Yeah.
We have Mercurial Host.
The Mercurial Host.
This one is not close the simplest detachment rule, which is reroll advances.
Yeah.
Since you can advance and charge with everything, it basically just gets you up the board even faster. There are some things in here that like has assault or blah 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 to be able to just move around the board. Movement is key. There is one thing. Honor the Prince is one of their stratagems, and it's instead of making an advance roll, just move 6, which is a little strange. That it basically maxes out your roll instead of using your detachment roll instead of working with it.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of goes along with the flavor of the detachment itself, and then just like you absolutely need to get this guy where he needs to go kind of thing.
Being
so just kind of overriding your own detachment rule.
To go maximum speed. This is if you want to paint your Emperor's Children like Sonic the Hedgehog, because they gotta go fast. The entire faction in general is fast.
Mm-hmm.
Your average Marine is speed 7 instead of 6. Your Terminators are speed 6. Everything is just a little bit faster, and then there's stuff that's even faster than that. So, by God, if you want to get there, you're getting there.
Yeah, that's kind of how we've seen Slaanesh in all their games before. Is they're faster. These ones aren't necessarily as glass cannony like they are in like Sigmar and the demons are and stuff like that.
They're still Marines.
Yeah, that they are faster for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then their enhancements are pretty basic as well. Like if you target somebody that is or less than full strength, you get +1 to hit.
Below half strength is +1 to wound.
Yeah.
And it's the Bears unit, so it's the whole unit. You can put that in like Noise Marines or something like that, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So the only thing in the book that can't have a non-epic hero attached to is the Flawless Blades. So none of these can go on Flawless Blades.
Oh yeah.
So that is something worth noting, because Flawless Blades, I've heard a lot of people say that when you look at their stat line, they look like the absolutely nuts if you buff them, and you can't buff them.
Can't buff them because they're already flawless.
They're flawless. You can't buff flawless. My favorite of the enhancements is actually the Tactical Perfection, which is after both players are deployed, you can select up to 2 units from your army and redeploy them. And if you do, you can put them into strategic reserves.
Yeah.
That doesn't look terribly impressive until you realize that all of your troops have either infiltrate or scout. Mm-hmm. So you can like counter deploy, which can really help you in the scoring, especially early.
It's really good for board control and whatnot.
Yes. And they have the classic uppy downy Cruel Raiders as one of their. So this is just the I want to score and I'll hit you if I get there. Mm-hmm. And I will get there. This one is probably my least favorite because it's the least killy. It's the most thinky.
Yeah,
it's the most thinky. You got to know when to advance them and know when to fold them.
Yeah, I'm not very good with placement and movement, so I don't think I would shine with this detachment.
But it has the ability, because a lot of the detachments like that, the base demons detachment, the Vanguard for Tyranids and blah blah blah, that have the movement and teleporting and like put into reserves and all that stuff, usually come out ahead scoring wise. Mm-hmm. So if you're good with it, it's really good. If not, you're probably gonna get your patootie kicked.
For sure.
Up next,
Peerless Bladesman.
Peerless Bladesman.
In this one, their detachment rule is Exquisite Swordsmanship. Each time an Emperor's Children unit from your army is selected to fight, if it made a charged move this turn, select one of the abilities, lethal hits or sustained hits. While resolving those attacks, melee weapons equipped with them have one of those too.
Cool. So it's like the replacement of Dark Pact,
because
Dark Pact is you roll a leadership to either get sustained or lethal. This one is you just get to do it when you charge. So always be charging. Melee is king. This one is kind of the generic detachment, but it's the more killy version.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward too. Very killy, especially with the amount of falling back and charging you can do. Mm-hmm. As far as the enhancements go for these guys,
I don't like Faultless Opportunist, the Heroic Intervene for 0, because it's kind of up to your opponent when that happens for them, and if they're like not playing melee, that's not going to happen at all. Like that one's kind of iffy for me. I do like all the other ones though. Mm-hmm. Blinding Speed is once per game fight first, so you can do that on a whole unit of your melee guys. You can do it on a Demon Prince. You're going to find out that a lot of these are really good on Demon Princes. For example, Distortion is a +1 attack and +1 damage characteristic of melee weapons.
Yeah, I think that one's probably my favorite.
Oh, +1 damage on an enhancement is nuts.
Mm-hmm. Notable strats?
There's a lot of like decently good. I have the hard time saying generic, but like we've seen a lot of these before.
Yeah.
They do have so it's 2 CP, so it's a little expensive, but it is automatic fight on death, which is nice because most of them are like fight on death on a 3-up or a 4-up or something.
2-up or something.
But this one is just, it's 2 CP, but it's always fight on death.
Right.
Kind of nice. Consolidate 6 inches can be useful to get you onto a point or engage somebody else that doesn't want to be engaged. This one is probably my favorite one. Cut down the weak. So an opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit falls back is 2 CP. Again, they're CP is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Basically, if they end within 6 of you, you can just countercharge them and charge
Yeah,
them
you
again.
can just charge back into them. Yeah, I remember reading that one.
Yeah. That one's like oh, no, you get back here.
Right.
But yeah, this one's all about charging, murdering stuff. I'm definitely going to try this one out. It's going to be one of my early ones. Up next is Rapid Evisceration.
This one might be my favorite.
Yeah?
It might not be the most flavorful, but it's basically Slaaneish's version of Rhino Rush.
Their whole thing is mechanized murder. I love these names.
Same.
Each time an Emperor's Children model from your army makes an attack, if it disembarked from a transport, reroll hit roll and wound roll of a 1. That's good.
Yeah.
It is melee and range, so you can get out with some noise marines, which I think really shine in this one.
Yeah.
To be able to take advantage of the rerolling. But you can do it with anything.
Yeah.
The other thing that is good is the scout move from the shooting ones, the tormentors. They go on your rhino because it's a dedicated transport, so it has scout.
Right. Yeah.
So you can get up, get out, shoot.
I mean, it is kind of limited by the fact that not a lot of their stuff has assault ramp, or rhinos don't have assault ramp.
That's true.
Should say.
They do have another ability. They don't have the healing ability that almost all rhinos have. They have units disembark from this transport after it is advanced. If you do so, it counts as a normal move, but can't declare a charge, but can act normally otherwise.
Yeah.
So it can advance, get out, and shoot.
Yeah, you can still get the rerolls to the hit and the wound on the shooting,
Yeah.
which there is some decent shooting in here too. So, but if you are using a Land Raider, that can get really nasty.
Yes. So Land Raider, I mean, it's a Land Raider. It has las cannons. It has,
Yeah.
it's armored like a knight. And it's the only thing in here that lets you move up and get out and charge, which can be very strong. So they have a lot of armies have a transport attachment, which is like when you get shot, you can get into a transport, or when the transport gets shot, you can get out of the transport.
Yeah, I think they have a strat for that.
Yeah, they have both of those.
Yeah.
They have moving into you can move a transport into reserves. And then there is a enhancement that says once per turn in each movement phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If they do this, select a transport in strategic reserves. For the purposes of setting up that transport, treat the battle round as one higher than it really is.
Yeah.
So which means you can strategic reserves on the board turn 1, or you can strategic reserves in your opponent's backline on turn 2.
Yeah.
Which is really strong.
That is pretty cool.
And that says transport. So you could put, if your opponent doesn't screen you out right, you can put a Land Raider in your opponent's deployment zone on turn 2.
Yep. Yeah, that one's probably my favorite. Just because I like rhinos and whatnot. So.
Yeah. This is also like kind of the generic vehicle detachment because a lot of this stuff works for just vehicles. There is one that lets you, once per round, when a vehicle within 6 inches of the bearer fails an armor save, it is on a failed armor save, you can change the damage characteristic to 0, which is very good considering some of them are, the way that it works, before armor saves are rolled. You just like basically auto pass an armor.
Right.
Whereas this is after armor saves, which can be very strong. That one's good too. Spearhead Striker is another enhancement. Each time the bearer disembarks from a transport until the end of the turn, you can reroll charges made for the bearer, and enemy units cannot declare Overwatch against them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I like this one a lot. My only problem with it is I need to buy 4 more rhinos and probably another Land Raider. Next is the Demon Detachment. This one's getting a bit of hubbub online because people are a little upset that you can't just use demons and everything.
Yeah.
Basically, you can have up to 1,000 points in the Legions of Excess, which there's 5 data sheets in here that you can use. They're a little changed from the index for Chaos Demons, and that has now been reflected in the Demon Index.
Yeah, that they just updated. Yeah.
Yep. And the way it works is if a demon and a non-demon are within 6 inches of each other, they both get sustained hits 1. If they already had sustained hits 1, they get crit on 5s instead.
Yeah.
And this is also, double checking, melee and ranged. Very strong. This works on everybody. So this works on Flawless Bladesman. This works on Lucius and Fulgrim and everybody.
Yeah, and with how cheap like your Seekers and your Demonettes are, this is pretty easy to pull off.
Yeah, Demonettes are only 80 points.
Yeah.
That is nuts. They were 110, and I was still taking them.
Yes.
And they have fights first built in now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking a lot of Demonettes.
The only, like, the weirdest part about this detachment, this was probably my second favorite, very close to the Rhino Rush, just because with the rumors of how demons are getting treated,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be nice that demon players would only have to buy half of an army going forward if, they had the other half of whatever chaos cult they chose.
Sure.
But the weird part about it is if you look at the enhancements and stuff, they still only target Emperor's Children for the most part.
But yeah, there's one that can go on an Emperor's Children or a Keeper of Secrets.
Yeah,
all
or
the
a
other
Keeper
ones
of
are
Secrets.
just Emperor's Children.
And then there's one friendly Slanesh unit, so I'm pretty sure that even counts the demons. You get the heroic intervention for 0 CP.
Which we already talked about is kind of up to your opponent when it happens.
Right. So all the enhancements target Emperor's Children, so it's basically like, hey, demons, you can be here, you can buff us. But like,
you're not that important.
Yeah.
That being said, I just raved about what was it? The +1 attack and damage for distortion from Peerless Playbook.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in here that is the same thing, +1 attack and damage, but hazardous and devastating wounds on all melee attacks.
Yeah.
So again, on a Demon Prince, you can get that baby. Hang on, I'm gonna bring up. That one unfortunately cannot go on a Keeper of Secrets. That'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You could get 7 attacks, Strength 8, AP 2, 4 damage with devastating.
Yeah.
Whew. Very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And sustained 1 because it's a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's an Emperor's Children. It actually doesn't count as a Legion of Excess, does it?
No.
It does not.
But again, you'll have cheap demonettes right next to them.
Yep. So very strong. I like this one a lot. I'm going to be using this because I have like 4,000 points in Slanesh Demons. Don't talk about it.
Wow.
For the strats, there is my favorite one in here, which is Dark Apparitions. My favorites are all 2 CP, and that upsets me a little bit. But it's 1 Demonettes unit from your army that is not in engagement range. You can remove from the battlefield, put it back into reserves, and then if it comes in on the next turn, it can deep strike outside of 6, as long as it's near an Emperor's Children, and it can charge.
Yeah.
It is one of the only things other than the Demon Index that lets you deep strike within 6 and charge. What else we got? We got another Consolidate within 6, -1 to be hit, and that's just Slanesh unit, so you can use that on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Legions of Excess unit, eligible to declare a charge on a turn once it fell back or advanced, because remember, excess demons don't show that. Demons of Excess don't have the detachment rule or the army rule, so they can't advance and charge or fall back and charge normally.
Right.
But this strat lets them, provided at least one of those targets is in charge range of an engagement range of a Emperor's Children unit. So basically, they're like following the Emperor's Children around, like helping them out.
And no Legions of Excess can be your warlord.
No.
Just a little.
You can't have Shalaxi as your warlord, despite her being a named character, Greater Demon. She can't be your warlord.
Yeah. But otherwise, I really like it. It's a good. I think it's pretty strong, and
I think it's flavorful. I think it's strong. It really helps with like you're gonna have a lot of units on the board.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the more dudes you put out, the better the detachment rule is gonna be.
Yeah, and it's a good way to ease demon players into this faction if that's the one they choose when demons inevitably get taken away, which is a rumor, but it's looking pretty bad.
It is looking pretty bad, especially with the update today.
Yeah, but so this I am assuming all the other Chaos Gods are going to get their own version of it and those codexes when they come out, but we'll cover those when we get there. But yeah, I like it.
Yep, me too. I'm gonna try it out. I gotta try all these out. Up next is one of the most flavorful, but also probably the worst one is Coterie of the Conceited.
Yeah.
So first of all, at the start of each battle round, if your warlord is on the battlefield, you have to pledge a number of points to Slanesh, representing the number of units you will destroy that battle round. If you meet or exceed that number, you get that many, whatever you pledged, packed points. And you get bonuses that we're going to go over here in a second. If you fail to meet that number, you don't get any packed points, and your warlord suffers D3 mortals.
Yeah.
The bonuses are really strong. If you have at least one pack point, you get rerolls hit rolls of a 1. 3+ is reroll wound rolls of a 1. 5+ is lethal hits and sustained hits in melee, so both. And then 7+ is crit on 5s, and they all stack. So you're rerolling hit rolls, wound rolls of a 1, crit 5s, sustained and lethal if you get all of it.
Yeah.
The problem is there's only 5 battle rounds, so you gotta kill some stuff.
Fast.
This kind of reminds me of the power from pain that Drakari has, because it's like over time they get stacking bonuses.
Right.
But that just automatically happens. This
Yeah.
you gotta kill stuff for. Like I said, it's probably gonna be one of the worst ones, just because you kind of have to know averages on like what roughly you can do.
Yeah.
There is one of the strats in here that helps that a bit. It is Unbound Arrogance. So it is your shooting or fight phase after an Emperor's Children unit from your army destroys a unit. Increase your pledge to Slaanesh by 1. So you can only use the strat once per battle round. So basically what it means is it increases your pledge by 1. So it doesn't increase your kill count by 1.
Yeah, it increases.
So
the,
basically,
bonus.
if you have exceeded your target, you can get 1 extra pact point at the end of the round. Okay, so it doesn't actually help you succeed your pact. It's like a fail-safe in case.
Right.
It's not even a fail-safe because you've already killed it. You can be a little more conservative in your guess, and then like get the extra bonus if you actually go above that.
Right. Again, it definitely goes along with the rest of the detachment of like kind of like betting high and high risk, high reward type deal. Again, it can go very horribly wrong. So
yeah,
this might be a higher skill ceiling detachment to go with.
Yeah, especially your warlord has to be on the battlefield, so he can't die. So you need either something that's going to stay protected or something that's very, very hard to kill.
Right.
And from what I've been seeing, I don't think Fulgrim's hard enough to kill for him to be the choice.
Yeah, no, he's not very tanky. We'll get to that.
So the good thing about it is once you hit certain pact points, even if your warlord dies, you get to keep the buffs. Because that's not requiring him to be on the board. You just can't get any more pact points if he's dead.
Right.
The rest of the strats are pretty good. Worse than AP by 1, so armor of what's it called?
Armor of Contempt.
Armor of
but
Contempt.
Like backwards. Or no, is it worse than it towards them or?
Worse than the armor penetration of that attack by 1. So it's just armor.
Oh yeah, so it's Armor of Contempt.
So armor of aberrance is what it's called. They have a comeback to life 1, but you have to make a leadership test. So it's Pledge of Eternal Servitude. The first time the bearer is destroyed, make a leadership test. If the test is passed, set the bearer back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, with D6 wounds remaining up to its wounds characteristic. So it's kind of a failsafe for your warlord. If you have a non-epic hero warlord, put that on him.
Yeah.
Like, just in case. I don't know how many points it is. Oh, they're all pledges. Cool. Eternal Servitude. 25 points. That's a lot. That's actually the only one that went up from the book, too. But I would still do it.
Yeah.
The rest of these are all fine. The Pledge of Unholy Fortune is cool. Once per turn, when making a hit, wound, or save for the unit, if the bearer is not battle shocked, you can basically automatically roll an unmodified 6.
Yeah, that's a really good one, too.
Yeah. So you can, sustained hits, you can crit, you can definitely get that mortal wound through or whatnot. Or a saving throw if you need to keep somebody alive.
Yeah.
And last up is, for the detachments, is Slaanesh's Chosen.
Yeah. Emperor's Children character units from your army can ignore any or all modifiers to their move characteristic and any or all modifiers to advance and charge rolls made for them. At the start of the battle, your warlord's unit is your army's favored champions. The first time in each player's turn that an Emperor's Children character unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, after resolving all of its attacks, that character unit becomes your army's new favored champions, replacing the old one. Each time a model in your army's favorite champion's unit makes an attack, you can reroll the wound roll.
So you have a unit that is buffed with reroll wounds, and then when something else that isn't that kills something, they become the buffed unit.
Yeah.
It's a little strange because they have to kill something in order to get a buff that helps them kill things. But you can do it. Again, these guys, I feel like, lean a little heavier into skill ceilings because you have to know where to fight first, where to shoot first. Because if this unit has the reroll wound buff, they need to shoot first so they keep it. And then if something else kills something, then they get it and takes it away from this unit.
Right.
So you need to know, like, basically always attack with your champions first and then try and get a buff from the second one.
And then try to end that with, like, who you want to start off the next turn kind of
Right.
thing. Who you want them to have the buff next turn so they can go for something.
Exactly. Because this is a themed detachment, almost every single one of these has something to do with your Emperor's Champion. Basically, you get a buff, and you get a bigger buff if you're the Emperor's Champion. Reroll charge rolls. If they're the favorite champions, you get +2 to move as well. Really good. And when an enemy tries to fall back from them, take Desperate Escape test. If they're the Emperor's favorite champions, +1 to the -1 from the Desperate Escape test. Blah, 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 blah. My favorite one in here actually specifically does not buff the favorite champion.
Oh, really?
It is a Heightened Jealousy. Your shooting phase or fight phase just after a character unit has become your favorite champions, or your armor's favorite champion destroys a unit. Until the end of that phase, each time a model in an Emperor's Children character unit that is not your favorite champion makes an attack, add 1 to the strength.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
So, and this includes ranged.
Yeah.
Because it's the shooting phase. So if you have something kill something and become the champion, or the champion kills something, you buff every other unit in your list that is not that unit.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
For 1 CP.
For 1 CP. And it also helps you kill something to make something else the favorite champion. I like that one a lot. That one's going to be like every turn for me. One or more Emperor's Children army. The Emperor's Children character units, every single one of these characters, you're going to want a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Character units from your army that has not been selected to fight, they just gain sustained hits 1.
Yeah.
This one does not specifically buff the favorite champion. So it is just like generic, you can give anybody sustained hits 1.
Yeah. Ooh. They have a pretty good enhancement.
Which one?
Gives them gives a Emperor's Children model precision.
Ooh. Bear's melee weapons have precision, and each time they make a melee attack targeting a character, add 1 to the strength and AP.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Again, Demon Prince. Doesn't say infantry. That means it goes on a Demon Prince.
True.
So we're going to cover some of the, like, pretty good data sheets.
Yeah.
Because that is all of the detachments. And the first one I want to talk about is the Demon Princes.
Yes.
Because both of them are amazing.
Yeah.
They're both very good. Generally how it is in all of the Chaos detachments is the one without wings is more like buffy, and the one with wings is more of like a missile.
Yeah.
You send them in and they kill stuff. This is similar. They have very, very useful abilities either way, but I feel like because it's Slaanesh, the one on foot is still kind of selfish because it is a Demon Prince that gains Lone Op.
Yeah.
While it's within 3 inches of a Slaanesh infantry unit, this model has a lone operative ability. So it is a monster with lone op, and those are terrifying.
Yes.
He also has, when a Slaanesh unit within 6 inches of him makes a charge, it increases their AP by 1. So his melee weapons go up to 3 and 1 for your sweep. And it gives both of these abilities are any Slaanesh unit, so that includes your demons in the one attachment.
And he still moves really fast with 10 inches.
Yep. So they each got +2 speed from a normal Demon Prince. They're generally speed 8 and speed 12. Now they're speed 10 and speed 14.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Ooh. The last ability on the Foot Demon Prince is if he dies, he gets to fight on death on a 2-up.
Yeah, a 2-up fight on death is nuts, especially with his melee profile.
Yeah. Basically, even if he doesn't get to fight first, he's going into somebody big. He has a chance to take him out, which is very strong.
Yeah.
And then the one with wings is, again, more selfish. He doesn't actually buff anything around him. He does mortal wounds on the charge equal to the wounds he has remaining. He has deep strike because he has wings.
Yep.
And whenever he takes an attack, -1 from the damage of the attack. Both of these are really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time not taking one in every list. They're ridiculously strong.
Demon Prince is probably one of my favorite Chaos models. And
Oh, yeah.
they're so good in Slaanesh. Maybe I'll play Emperor's Children one day, and it'll be all Demon Princes.
Well, I mean, we got 3 more books to look forward to. Maybe they're going to be good in there, too.
True. True.
Did you want to talk about the Chaos Spawn?
I do want to talk about the Chaos Spawn because
You mentioned it 3 times since I sat down.
Yeah, the Chaos Spawn for these guys is actually kind of nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
I want to look up points.
yeah, look at the points real quick. But he moves
80 points for 2 models.
80 points for 2 models, so 40 points a model. They move 10 inches in Slanesh, and they get D6 plus 2 attacks, AP minus 1, what is it, strength 5, AP minus 1, and 2 damage. But not only is he super fast with his 10-inch movement, anytime something moves within 9 inches of him or ends a move within 9 inches of him, he gets to move up to 6 inches.
Yep. Not D6.
Not D6.
Just move 6 in any direction.
Straight 6. Like, he is zipping around.
Blistering fast.
Yeah. 10-inch movement with an extra 6 if something's moving around him. 1 objective control, so 2 if you have 2, and a decent melee profile. Like, that's dirt cheap for something. Again, movement is key, board control type stuff.
Yeah, very strong, decently tough with toughness 5, 4 up and a 5 up feel no pain. And like, if they die, who cares?
Right. Yeah.
They're less than 100 points for a unit, and yeah, very strong. I like these guys. The Infractors and the Tormentors are both generically good. They're your troops choice. The Tormentors are the ranged ones and have infiltrate and sticky objectives. I don't know why they gave sticky objectives to an infiltrate unit, but I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, infiltrate, sticky objectives, and they have like special weapons options. They're like their basic battle line troops are actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like both of them. And the Tormentors are 85 points for 5. So yeah, that's pretty normal for Space Marines.
Yeah.
And then the Infractors are the Scouts. So I was wrong earlier when I said Scouts. So the Infractors are the melee ones. They have Scout. They reroll the wound rolls of a 1, and if the enemy is on an objective marker, they reroll the full wound roll instead. Their melee weapons are nothing to write home about. They are strength 4, AP 1 or 2, and 1 damage.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of them. Even their regular sabers are 4 attacks, and every single weapon has precision. On melee at least. And actually, oh my god, the Tormentor's plasma gun has precision and Melta.
I didn't even know that. That just makes it worse.
The Tormentors, all their ranged weapons have precision. Holy crap. Do not get anywhere close to them with your foot characters.
Yeah, I mean,
there's going to be
like making up since they don't have like a heavy bolter or any kind of option like the generic Chaos Space Marines, but that is nuts.
That's really good.
Wow.
And then they both have the Icon of Excess, which is in the shooting or fight phase when they kill something, when they kill a unit, they can take a leadership test and their leadership 6, and if they pass, they get a CP. Yeah. So get a CP out of it. This is one of the only ways in the book to get free command points. So, and they're your battle lines, so you're going to take a bunch of them. I think they're really strong. And Infractors are also 85 points. They're both 85. Yeah, I think these guys are going to be super useful in any of these detachments.
They've definitely got some of the best battle line in the game, that's for sure, if nothing else.
That's true. Noise Marines got a huge upgrade. So the downside is they're no longer battle line. Wah.
Yeah.
So you can only take 3 units. They're always 6 models. And you can have two models switch their Sonic Blaster for a Blastmaster, which is strictly better.
Sure.
So do that. And then the Disharmonist, which is your leader, can swap out their Sonic Blaster for a Screamer Pistol and a Power Sword. So you can be a little melee focused, but lose a little range on your gun.
Right.
Because their Screamer Pistol is still 3 attacks. It's the same exact profile, but it's range 12 instead of 18. Yeah. So it's not even like half the range. It's like a third. 2/3 of the range.
That's pretty typical Sergeant-esque behavior, which is what this guy basically is.
Exactly. But the Screamer Pistol and the Sonic Blaster are strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. And the Blastmaster has 2 profiles that are, one is 6 attacks at strength 6, AP 2, 1 damage. And the other one is strength 10, AP 2, 3 damage, 3 attacks. So it is, again, always do this. The same amount of attacks at the same ballistic skill, double the strength, double the AP, and +1 damage.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any bonus of extra abilities. It doesn't have heavy. It's just better.
Basically no reason you wouldn't take it.
Yeah. Their ability is one of the meh ones. Whenever something is hit with it, they take a battle shock test, and it's -1 until the start of the next until the start of your next shooting phase, each time a battle shock or leadership test is taken for that unit, subtract 1 from the test. So it's not even a forced battle shock test. It is just a penalty if you are hit and you take a battle shock test.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. Because before it was if you're hit by a sonic weapon, you take a battle shock test.
Right.
So I like the damage output it can do because that is a lot of damage 2 shots and a decent amount of damage 3 shots. You can super buff it out with, sustained hits, lethals, rerolling. There's a whole bunch of buffs in this book you can give it.
Oh, for sure.
So I am super excited to try them out. Luckily, I have 32 of them. This is why I hate when something is battle line and it gets cut from battle line, because I had barely enough for 2 units, and then they were like, how about you have more than enough, and also here's 12 more.
Yeah. Similar happened to me with Sanguinary Guard when they got cut down to 3s. They weren't battle line, but I still had...
Yeah, because they were 10-man units, right?
You could have up to 10-man units, 3 units of them, so you could have 30. I mean, I only had 15, so I was halfway there, and then they cut them down to 3, and now I'm almost all the way there, and I bought the Combat Patrol, so now I'm over it again.
Can you take 6, or is it just 3?
You can take 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that is the weird thing about Noise Marines, is like...
You can't choose to only take 3.
Yeah, you can't choose to only take 3, and a lot of, like, previous releases that we've seen, a lot of their kind of bigger elite units went in squads of 3. And
right.
This is 6.
The 8-bound, the Sanguinary Guard,
the Inner Circle Companion. I mean, I guess technically they're 5 with their 2 little dudes walking around them. But...
I think they're technically tokens, so they don't count.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird that they chose. I know 6 is Slimesh's number, but they got to stop doing some of that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Let me have 8 8-bound then.
Yeah. Exactly.
How about that?
Don't give them 8 8-bound. The 6 are already terrifying.
Yeah. And I think we kind of got to talk about Fulgrim.
We got to talk about
Fulgrim.
Fulgrim.
Talk about Emperor's Children without Fulgrim.
He's the Primarch.
He is their Primarch. He is their big centerpiece model. Unfortunately, he's not as great as some of the other Primarchs right now.
Yeah.
At least mostly because of his points.
He's very expensive. I think he's 385.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to come down.
I guess we'll just go over his stats in general.
Sure.
He moves 16 inches. He's toughness 11. He has a 2-up save and a 4-up invuln, which that's pretty decent, I guess. 16 wounds, 5-up leadership, 6 OC. His range weapons include his Malefic Lash, which has sustained hits 1, 12-inch range, 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 8, AP -2, 2 damage. And then his melee weapons, he's got his Demonic Blades, the Strike, and the Sweep profiles, like we've seen a lot of. They both have sustained hits 1. On the Strike, it is 6 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 14, AP -3, D6 +1 damage, which that one is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Not bad. And then his Sweep profile is 12 attacks, hitting on 2s, only strength 8 though, -2 AP, 2 damage each. And then his Serpentine Tail, which is extra attacks, 6 of them, hitting on 2s, 6 strength, AP -1, 1 damage. So, not terrible weapon profile. Again, I think just not great for his points.
Yeah, if he comes down in points, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna like him a lot more. He has 2 abilities. Well, he has 2 abilities, one of which has 3 choices, like all the Primarchs do. So the first ability that's always on is his Poison, which is in the shooting or fight phase. After you finish attacking something, they become poison for the rest of the game. And on a 4-up in each player's command phase, you roll a dice on a 4-up, they take D3 mortal wounds. So that does only last while he's on the board. So it's not like Ionis Cryptborn in Sigmar, where they're just burning for the rest of the game, even if he's dead. And it's going to be way more useful on his gun, because you can kind of tag something with his gun, and it's just going to kind of be poison for the rest of the game. Whereas in melee, he has to not kill something in melee. And then it has to... Well, I guess it's a full command phase, so it's kind of like a chance at D3 mortal wounds if he doesn't kill something.
True.
Because even if they don't fall back or whatever. And then so he is the first Primarch that I have seen that is completely selfish. He gives nothing to his army.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was going to be one, it was going to be him.
Yeah.
I just wish his buffs were a little stronger.
True.
So the first one that he gets to pick is this. So these are interesting because they're picked in your opponent's command phase, not your command phase. The first one is -1 to be hit against everything. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that one. The next one is fights first, which is also pretty good, but kind of more situational.
Yeah.
Because he obviously doesn't want that on the turn he charges. He wants to be charged and then get it. And then the last one is kind of meh. When an enemy unit is within 6 inches, each time they are selected to fall back, they make a leadership test. If they're failed, they must remain stationary. So considering that is instead of fight first or -1 to be hit, I feel like that one's not as good.
No.
Although if he charges at something, fails to kill it, and it wants to fall back from him, they still have a chance to succeed that, which is kind of dumb. If it was just like, I don't know, wrapping your tail around it or something like that,
Right.
and it just literally couldn't fall, nothing can fall back from him, period. That would be better.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously it would be better. It would be strictly better, but I feel like that is not a Primarch ability. I just want him to go down in points. He has Deep Strike, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I wish he had a bonus to charge.
True. Yeah.
Because then you could keep him off the board. He won't get shot. He'll come in,
Yeah.
probably make a charge if you have a bonus to charge.
So, I mean, he's all right.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's still scary,
Yes.
but he's a little expensive scary.
He's not as tough as Mortarion. He's not as turbo terrifying as Angron. He also doesn't come back to life like Angron.
Yeah.
And he's not as a buff bot as
Magnus. Yeah.
So he's in the weird spot that he is purely a damage dealer, and I think he's still not as good as Angron.
Damage-wise, I don't think he's as good as Angron remotely. He is faster.
He's faster.
Angron.
Well, that's he's faster if you don't include the fact that Angron can get +2 to move, advance, and charge just like you can. And
yeah, he's 2 inches faster than Angron. They have the same invulnerable, same wounds, same toughness. Same leadership, same OC. What's his melee profile?
14 -3 d6 +1, 6 attacks with sustained 1.
What was the strength on it?
14.
So yeah, Angron's got higher strength on his weapon. How many attacks? One more time, sorry.
6.
And 6 and 12. Angron's got more.
Mm-hmm.
Angron doesn't have a range weapon.
As well he shouldn't. He's a world eater.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. Again, he's very middle of the road.
Yeah.
Which for a centerpiece Primarch he should not be.
Yeah.
He should be very, very, very good, but expensive. And he's expensive, but I don't think he's very, very, very good.
How many points was he?
285. No, sorry, 385.
Yeah. So Angron's 50 points higher.
50 points higher? Damn.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty expensive. But he can also come back to life.
But he can also come back to life. Yeah. So a little disappointed in Fulgrim.
It's not going to stop me from buying him.
Yeah. Model's still cool. As many memes about his face there are, his model's cool.
Yep.
If I was playing Emperor's Children, I'd probably pick him up. I'd almost probably pick up the Horus Heresy one. I like the wings better on that.
The wings are cooler. I think the face is more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like pristine. Like he knows he's the pretty boy. Whereas the new one, it's been 10,000 years of chaos corruption. He's aged a little bit.
He's a little nuts.
That being said, it's also probably going to be double the price because we don't know what the new one's going to look like, and I know it's what 280 something. I was going to say it's almost his points, but that's 380. So yeah, it's like almost $300 for the Forge World one, and also those wings in Forge World resin.
Yeah, it's mostly just the wings and the posing that I like on the Horus Heresy model better. The plastic model, everything else about it is fine. I like it.
I like it. Yeah. I like a lot of people down on this book. I think they're crazy. I think this book's great.
I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for people to figure out the combos and how they're supposed to run it. But like I've already seen a few crazy pink tide combos going out there because again, these guys' battle line is just nuts.
Yeah.
It's just
Battle
nuts.
line's insane.
Like,
They do have the downside that a lot of people are talking about, that they don't have very much heavy hitting.
yeah,
Getting to above, like, other than Fulgrim and las cannons, like, getting above strength 12 is hard.
yeah. You basically have to depend on your Mauler Fiends, your Land Raider, and Fulgrim for any reliable anti-vehicle. Unfortunately.
Yep. Which means you're probably going to want to take Mauler Fiends.
Yeah.
I probably going to want to take the Flawless Blades kind of help because they're low damage. They're only 2 damage, but they always wound on a 3+.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But if they fail to kill a model, aka they charge a knight and don't kill him, they automatically lose 1 model. So at your own risk.
Yeah. So yeah, they're not super great into heavy armor, but they will mulch everything else.
And to be fair, I think Khorne is supposed to be the anti-armor because even their 8-bound are strength 14 for some reason. So they can charge a vehicle and absolutely annihilate it with their infantry, and you are more like many attacks, very fast.
Yeah. And I think that's just where they struggle with identity because, like,
Yeah.
you know, Nurgle's got the durability, and Magnus has the magic, or Tzeentch has the magic, and Khorne has the melee, but Slaanesh also is supposed to have the melee.
Yeah. Slaanesh
So,
has
like,
the speed.
Yeah.
The thing it used to be is that Khorne would get plus strength, their weapons would be better. Slaanesh would get more attacks, so
And be faster.
and be faster.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have the speed, but they don't have them. I think basically everything in this book can get +1 attack.
And I think it wouldn't be too bad.
I don't think it would be
or
that
too broken. Like, I agree with that.
That's it. If we missed anything, obviously we didn't go into super detail. We didn't talk about everything, every strat or every unit in the army.
We could do that, but it would be like a 3-hour video.
It would be a 3-hour video.
And our last one didn't do too well.
Yeah, watch those and maybe we'll do it. Come on.
Yeah.
But I'm super happy about this book. I'm very excited to try it out. I'm maybe gonna try it out this weekend.
Okay.
Maybe I'll come back and tell you how it did.
Yeah. And until then.
Bye.